This is Frankie Stossel, a child of God. Was he born to be bad? What you are about to witness is based on fact. The actual names and dates have been changed. However, the locale is factual.
Someone's coming. Did you, bury this stuff?
Yeah. But this time I, picked another bush.
Okay, you better get over to one of the other lanes. I'll, call you tomorrow.
Do you want me to fix you some bacon and eggs?
No, I'm not hungry.
You feel all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just not hungry.
Did you finally lose some money at the bowling alley last night?
No, I didn't lose any money. So you don't have to keep harping about me finding a job.
Ethel, he hasn't left the house in 3 days. Right now he's out in the backyard listening to that awful rock and roll, reading a scandal magazine. Oh, if I mention one word about work, he just jumps all over me. Well, honestly, Ethel, I must be really stupid. I listen to everyone talking about world affairs. Here, I don't know what to do about my own son. Maybe I have been too easy on him, I don't know. There's one thing I do know, Ethel. Frankie is a good boy. Sooner or later, he'll find something to do.
Hey, tell Vinny I want to see him at back. Yeah.
Frankie wants to see you. He's out in the back.
Thanks, man. Well, where have you been hiding?
Any fuzz been around?
Why should they come around?
Anyway, don't be in too much of a hurry to peddle the stuff.
Who's in a hurry? We've got enough cash to tide us over. Come on, let's go out to the game.
I've got something else to do.
Not again.
Yeah. I think I'm finally going to get her to go out with me.
Well, ring a ding-dang.
Vince, my boy, baseball is a pastime for little boys. Have fun, Sonny.
I'm sorry, Frankie, but I can't stand and talk. The boss is watching from the kitchen.
All right. Order me a cup of black coffee and answer me yes or no. Will you meet me later?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious. Meet me in front of the drugstore about 10:15.
Honey, you've got a date.
All right, young lady. I think you better put your slacks on.
But Mrs. Stossel, you don't seem to understand. Despite the fact the girl did not resist his advances, she is still under 16 years of age. And according to Michigan law, any man who engages in an affair with a girl under 16 is charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
Contributing to the delinquency of a minor? Well, then why have you charged him with rape?
Well, it's not really rape in its strongest sense. In this case, it's a technical term known as statutory rape. It means that even with the girl's consent, the adult is still responsible.
Yes, but Frankie wasn't aware of the girl's true age.
That is a point that is often raised by a bartender who is charged with serving intoxicating beverages to a minor. And usually, no matter what he says, he's guilty.
But Frankie has never bothered anyone.
That is a point that could be in his favor. However, our preliminary reports reveal that Frankie doesn't work. He hangs around with a bunch of hoodlums.
Oh.
He's had his driver's license suspended for a year for reckless driving.
Oh, but Mr. Taylor, those boys aren't really hoodlums just because they hang out together. And about his license being suspended, you know how kids are with cars. And besides, Frankie's never had a ticket since he got his license back.
Why doesn't your son work, Mrs. Stossel? It doesn't seem right, a healthy young man of 21 not working.
Well, I can answer that, Mr. Taylor. I'm a good provider, and what I have is also my son's. When Frankie really finds what he wants to do, then he'll go to work.
Well, I can't argue with you. You're the boy's father. However, a crime has been committed. The parents have lodged a complaint, and I must proceed accordingly and bring Frankie to trial.
But, Mr. Taylor, you know in your own mind Frankie is not guilty of any crime.
Mrs. Stossel, I know how you feel. But you must stop and ask yourself, how does the girl's mother feel?
What can she possibly gain if my son goes to jail?
Mrs. Stossel, I'm sorry, but as prosecuting attorney of this county, I have a duty to enforce the law. I must bring Frankie to trial. The rest is up to the court.
Naturally, it's a bum beat. But those guys in the DA's office had to put on a show for the girl's old lady.
Yeah? Well, I know some guy in Flint, but after the DA put a show on for him, he got 10 years.
Who'd he kill? A cop?
A cop, nothing. He's up for the same thing Frank is up for. Only this guy knew the dame was only 14 years old.
Well, I got a pretty good idea Frankie's gonna beat this rap.
Hello? Oh, Ethel, thank goodness it's you. Oh, it's just that I've been so nervous lately that every time the phone rings, it startles me. Oh, no, don't be silly. I'm glad you called. Goodness knows I need someone to talk to. Yes, he likes his job. Oh, but Ethel, I just can't stop worrying. Yes, I know. Everyone has troubles. Oh, but Ethel, this has hit us like an atomic bomb. All right, Ethel. Thank you for calling. We'll get together very soon. It's just that I've been so ashamed to see anyone these days. You're very kind, Ethel. Yes, I'll let you know for sure. Goodbye, dear.
How come you're always the last one out?
I had to clean all of that garbage up. I don't know if it's worse working with those stiffs all day or being in the can.
Why don't you fake it, man? Make off like you're sick. All of a sudden you're like getting headaches.
Forget it. Come on, I got a better idea.
Hello, Mrs. Carson. I'd like to give you a piece of friendly advice. If you don't drop the charges against Frankie, your daughter's gonna wind up in the Detroit River. Never mind who this is. Frankie has a lot of friends. How'd you act? How would any mother act?
Though the threatening call did cause Mrs. Carson to drop the charges, a crime had been committed against the people of the state of Michigan. Therefore, Frankie Stossel was given a prison term of not more than 5 years or less than 2.5 years, depending upon his behavior, with confinement designated to and in the world's largest penal institution, the Southern Michigan Prison in Jackson. Official address, 4000 Cooper Road. Unofficial name to its more than 6,000 inmates, Jacktown. Yes, Jacktown, where on April 20th, 1952, Crazy Jack Hyatt and Earl E. Ward, two of the most vicious criminals of our time, captured several guards and held them as hostages to begin one of the most infamous riots in prison history. Immediately, the then governor of Michigan, G. Menon Williams, called out state troopers. However, the rioting grew fiercer. Chapels were burned. Food was destroyed. And after 2 days of rioting, many of the inmates were without food. And so, like animals, convicts turned on convicts And as the battle grew worse, it became a war within a war. As hundreds